Welcome to the Wednesday Call Live. Now let's hear our special guest host, VeRae Joseph.
Good morning, Alliance family. Thank you, Billy. I love that introduction. Something about that just hypes me up. My name is VeRae Joseph, based out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm so honored and blessed to be able to host this call alongside some of my best friends, some of the women I look up to in this industry, not just in this industry, but in life. So thank you, Andy and Jane, for trusting me to host this call. But yeah, my name is VeRae Joseph out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'll go over some quick housekeeping because I promised Tia Land that I would do that before I get into the nitty gritty. And I just had word that I can promote what I'm going to be promoting for two. But wanted to just go over some important dates that we have coming up. If you missed the intro to this call, if you're brand new with us, just write these dates down: October 16th through 19th. Write down October 16th through 19th, NBC, which stands for National Boot Camp in Burlington, North Carolina. So I'm from Albuquerque. I'm going to be taking a plane out there. If you're within driving distance, you can drive, but that's going to be our next major event where the whole family, the whole Alliance Nation gathers. We train together, we break bread together, we have fun together, and we dream build, and we get ready for the next event and the next 90-day push. So I'm so excited for the event. It's one of my favorite parts of this business, is just getting to be around my friends every 90 days, grow a little bit more, push myself out of my comfort zone, never going there thinking I have it figured out, always going with an open heart and an open mind of, God, speak to me, put somebody in front of me that can change my thinking today, put somebody in front of me that can change my business today. And more importantly, God, help me get somebody to this event that it can do the same thing for them. So I'm super excited to see our Alliance family here in about a month in Burlington, North Carolina. Another housekeeping that I wanted to go over is something that I believe is being under-edified right now. So if for those of you that don't know, American Amicable is running a contest. So what that contest entails is if you submit 3 applications for their new IUL, you are going to be entered into a lottery to earn the all-expense-paid trip to Thailand with us. So I'm going to be in Thailand. We've already earned it. I'm about 30,000 away from the extension. I'm trying to earn that contest because I want the $10,000 cash. So if you're a brand new agent and maybe you're like, hey, I don't know how I'm going to get to Thailand. It's been promoted to me. I just got my license today, or I'm taking my test next week. How can I be in Thailand? You can write a lot of premium. We've seen people do it last 90 days, earn the trips. It's definitely not impossible. But another easy way is you can give yourself more shots on goal by writing 3 AMAM apps, American Amicable, their new IUL. So for every 3 apps that you write, you get 1 lottery ticket. That lottery ticket is going to be pulled at NBC. So let's say you wrote 6 apps. You got 2 lottery tickets in the bucket, right? Wanted to go over a leaderboard for that. So people that are currently working towards that and promoting. So I'm not going to go through the top 19, but I'll go through the top 5. We've got Stephen and Holly Davies leading the charge with 4 apps, Jerry and Cassie Burbidge with 3 apps, Chris Paycheck, 3 apps, Mike Guerra with 3 apps, and then Oscar Calderin with 2 apps. So those are the top producers for AMAM right now. And people that have already earned themselves a lottery ticket, again, Stephen and Holly, Jerry and Cassie, Chris Paycheck, and Mike Guerra. So we've got some people that are closing in with 2 apps, so you need 1 more, but run up the scoreboard. The more tickets you got, the better chance you have to win that. We always talk about you don't win the trips, you earn them, but guys, they want somebody to win this trip, okay? So keep pushing, keep writing those apps, get yourself some more ammo, so that way you have higher chances of winning that trip. And it is a trip for 2. I just confirmed with Tia Land. So I asked her, I said, Tia, is that a trip for 1 or is that a trip for 2? And I said, we should just say trip for 2. So whether American Amicable wants to or not, they have to do it. So, and she gave me permission to say a trip for 2. So if you've been, dreaming of taking your mom to Thailand, your significant other, maybe one of your adult children, your best friend, that's just an extra way that you can do that. If you've already earned the trip, that locks in the extension for you if you get your ticket pulled at NBC. And again, if you've already earned the trip and the extension, it's $10,000 cash. So that was my housekeeping for the day. Hopefully I did that correctly and good, and I was excitable about that. I know we've got some people on our team that are starting to pop up on that leaderboard, so let's keep pushing, guys. I want it to be somebody on my team. I know Tia wants it to be somebody on her team too. So competition is good when it's all in good spirit. But guys, what I wanted to get into today was, Andy and Sophia asked me to talk about the topic of recruiting, and the title of the call was, if you think recruiting's hard, let's just break it down. They wanted me to talk about how Jake and I got into this business. And I do want to talk about that, but more so, I just want to talk about the type of people that we're looking for, right? I'm a big believer. I love the Alliance. I love the people that are in the Alliance, the staff that Andy has that have been put into our lives, our mentors. I'm so grateful for all of our uplines that have just poured countless hours into us, energy into us. They've listened to us on our highs. They've listened and coached us on our lows. And at the end of the day, I truthfully don't believe the Alliance makes a person. I believe that you can find people who already have the dream within them, who already have the strength within them. And the Alliance is a healthy place where we can come together and just, break out of our shells and really take the coaching that Andy's given us and his staff, like Jeff Bright and, Tia and Clay Murtis. If I start naming names, I'm going to be here all day. But, I believe that he's put those people in our lives for a reason. How can we relate to them, and how are they going to help us grow every day? So I'll give you guys a quick backstory. I know a lot of you guys, but maybe you're brand new. Your mentor sent you this call and said, hey, jump on, listen to these powerful ladies. So if you're a guy, don't worry. We've got successful men in this business, but I'm fired up to go over this call with all these ladies today. But just a quick backstory. So Jake and I, we have been with the Alliance coming up on 7 years now. So it's going to be a full 7 years at the beginning of next year. But anyways, we were brought into this business by a close family friend of ours by the name of Jara. I'm forever grateful for her. She wasn't just some stranger to me. She was a genuine and is a genuine family friend that we've had. She was dating my uncle, so they had been together, for some years before we met them. But just to give you guys high level, like the relationship that we have with her, she wasn't in the room when our oldest daughter was born, but she was at the hospital. She came to visit. She was kissing babies. We were exchanging hugs. She was just telling me congratulations. I just always loved her and respected her. And prior to this, though, we had gotten into another business with her. So rewind, Jake and I, we met young. We're high school sweethearts. We started dating at the age of 15 and 16 years old. For those of you that don't know, we became teen parents. We had our first daughter at 17. We had our second daughter at 19. We were married by 21. We purchased our first home by 22 years old. So Jake and I had already started building the life that we wanted before the Alliance fell in our lap. But what we did do is we were 18 years old. This was before our second daughter was born, and we saw a business opportunity. So we had gotten into drop shipping. For those of you that don't know what that is, we were ordering mass quantities of product from China, this place called Alibaba.com. So we were ordering mass quantities of product from China, shipping them to Amazon warehouses, and then selling them. Our business name, we decided, and niche, we decided to go into the market of, babies, because it was relatable at the time. We had a toddler. We didn't have a second kid yet, but we had a toddler. And I said, you know what? I can see how there's a need for these kind of things. Our business name was Tiny Toes. So we said, we're going to name our business Tiny Toes. And our product was backseat baby mirrors. We still have in our garage the original Tiny Toes with the logo and the backseat baby mirror that we ordered. But we were 18 years old, guys. I remember we had traveled to Peru. Jake and I, a dream of ours has always been to travel together. We were from 15 years old, we talked about what our life was going to be. We sat there at lunch. Don't think I have bad parents, no judgment here, but Jake and I, we were like, my parents wouldn't send me to school with lunch money, but we weren't like poverty where we got the free lunch, okay, like Stephen Davies talks about. But Jake and I, we'd go to the snack bar at lunch and we'd eat like shredded carrots for lunch, jalapenos, olives. We'd just go and we'd be like, hey, this is our lunch. And we'd sit there at the lunch table, or we'd go outside and we'd dream about what our family is going to look like one day and what we're going to do in the future. So we were in love since middle school. I'm just forever grateful for my husband because he had a dream then. He continues to have a dream now. I had a dream then, and I continue to have a dream that just gets bigger and bigger with exposure to the right people. So yeah, we were 18 years old. We decided to take our life savings at that time and send it to China. So we had about 15 grand in our bank account. He was working at Pizza Hut. I had been registering some people to vote. Looking back, it's so hysterical. I had no idea what I was doing. Politics don't matter, but I was registering people for a party that I don't even believe in looking back. I was just after that money. They said, I'll pay you $15 an hour. I said, sign me up. But that being said, we sent about $10,000 to China and we started our business. So we were in Peru at the time, again, coming back to our dream of always traveling. We had been given the opportunity to travel to Peru. We spent 10 months out there. 2 months out there. Sorry, 10 months was a little exaggerated. We spent 2 months in Peru and we were running our business. So I forget what time it is in Peru. It's not the same time zone as New Mexico, that's for sure. But we were, we'd be up at 1 a.m. sending emails back and forth to China. And, hey, did the shipment get sent? Did the Amazon warehouse receive it? And then it was our job to market the product, right? Run ads, making sure that we were showing up on people's search if they searched backseat baby mirrors. We didn't give that a long run because what we quickly realized, we didn't lose any money in that business, but we didn't have the capital that it would have taken to do it at a high level. So a lot of times when people start their own businesses with drop shipping, you do need a lot of capital to be able to, because what we sent the money we had and then we broke even getting it back. So it was kind of this rat race. We never could get ahead to reinvest more back into the business. So we did that. And then we said, okay, we need to go back. We've got a baby at home. We need to go get real jobs. So we came back. Jake was 18 at this point. I had actually turned 19 while we were in Peru, and Jake got a job in the film industry here in New Mexico. So he did that for just over 5 years, building movie sets, going to work. His shift was Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., right? Some people say that they get overtime. That was just a part of his normal schedule, Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So he went to work to provide for our family. He said, hey, I'm going to go to work. I'm going to provide, and you go chase your dream. And so during that time, I had always been interested in the medical field. When I graduated from high school, I had already had a certificate in medical assisting. And then I wanted to take it a step further and see which field. So I went and I got a certificate for dental assisting. And ultimately I chose to pursue the medical assisting. I started working for a doctor here in Albuquerque. His name is Dr. Hedges. I love that guy. We still text back and forth. And I absolutely loved it. I fell in love with that side of things. I was one of the few people in his office that can communicate in Spanish with his patients. So he found a lot of value in that. I was doing DOT and FAA physicals. And the side of things that I really enjoyed was I was also running the Suboxone clinic. So I just got to hear people's life stories. How did they end up in the position that they were needing to use, Suboxone to get off of whatever their drug of choice was. So I had a passion in that. And the doctor told me, VeRae, you are too good to be my medical assistant. I know I'm not going to keep you, but I tell you what, you can have a future in this industry because you work hard and you've got a good head on your shoulders. If you go and you become a nurse practitioner, you can do what I do. I saw the truck he drove. I said, dang, that's a nice truck. He had a horse trailer and horses. He lived off of Rio Grande, had very successful sons that I was able to meet throughout that process. So I said, okay, I'm going to go to school and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and I'm going to become a nurse practitioner. To be clear, I did not want to be a nurse. If I was going to go to school, it was going to be a nurse practitioner because I wanted to run my own business. I saw him being able to hire out the staff and make his own hours. I saw the paychecks. He was always very generous with us, taking us to lunches and dinners and, just Christmas bonuses. I remember the first time that I got a Christmas bonus, I was like, yeah, what's up? But I wanted to be able to be generous like that. And I wanted the things that he had. So I decided to go to school. Long story short, I had been in school for about 2.5, 3 years straight. I was taking 18 credit hours per semester because at this point, I had 2 babies at home, so I didn't have time to waste. I wasn't going to college for the experience. I was going strictly for the education and to get stuff done. God has, funny timing and always his reasoning. So I had done all that schooling and I was trying to test to get into a program. And here in New Mexico, you're required to take a test and pass it. There's 6 subjects and every subject you have to pass and you have to get at least a 70% in each subject. So I was killing it throughout the test. I had taken all of the subjects. I was 5 out of 6 in and I had passed. And I told myself, this last one's going to be easy. Well, I got a 69 on that last subject. So because I failed one subject, I failed the whole test because you have to get a 70 or better in all 6 subjects. I went home, I cried that day, got up, dusted myself off. I said, you know what, I'm going to go back at this test hard. I studied. I told myself, no matter what, I'm going to pass this test. Went to take my test the second time around. And I said, I'm going to take that subject that I failed first. So that way I could just get it out of the way because I crushed the other subjects. Well, took it again. I got like a 67. So I went down. I stood up in the middle of the test. I went to the instructor. I said, I'm out. And she said, well, aren't you going to finish the test? I was like, no, I just failed the first subject. Like even if I finish the test, she's like, well, you've got a valid point. So I went back to my academic advisor and I said, what do I got to do here? She said, well, you can come back and you can take the test in a year from now. I was like, well, I've just gone through all this schooling. What are my options? She said, you can change your degree completely or you can wait. So that being said, Jara had been in my life. She had introduced us into this business. She caught me on a bad day. So I had big goals. She caught me on a bad day. She asked me if I had ever considered the financial industry, getting my insurance license. I knew a couple things about the insurance industry. I knew that there was a lot of money in it. Reason being is my grandfather, I call him my papo. He was a State Farm agency owner, and he had been doing that since he was about 26 or 27 years old. So he's from a little town called Silver City, New Mexico. He and my Nana had moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico to start their own business. And that's what he did. He put his head down, he went to work, and he built that for 40 some years. And at this point, he was the most successful person in our family that I had known. He was the fun grandpa. When you go to the baseball games and you're not like sitting in the heat, he had the box suites, the unlimited hot dogs, the unlimited Cokes and sodas. He would take my brother and I, he had a boat, he had a camper. We'd go spend summers at the lakes with him. So for those of you here in Albuquerque, it's called Elephant Butte. We spent our summers at Elephant Butte with my grandpa, and I saw him have money and freedom. So when Jara asked me that question, I was simply open to it. I was like, well, what else am I going to do other than keep working at the doctor's office and wait another year to take that test? My aha moment when I saw the Alliance was I saw people that were successful. I trusted Jara. She invited me into this business. I was introduced to a couple that I could relate to. They had 2 kids, the same exact age as our girls at that time. And then I just got this feeling when I went to the local hotspot. I felt so welcomed. There was a guy, his name is Dylan, who just has the best smile in town. And I saw people that I could relate to, and I saw a bigger picture. So I went home, fired up. I told my husband, Jake, I said, we found it. We're going to be rich. At this point, it was like 11 at night. We had went to this thing. I didn't even know what it was. It was called a night owl. All I know is I was fired up. I was tired, but my brain was just moving a million miles an hour. At that point, Jake had been sleeping, and he said, we can talk about this in the morning. I love you. He kind of patted me on the head, said, that's cute. What you found. Let's talk about it in the morning. And I always tell people, as much as I'd like to act like I'm that wife that gets up and packs my husband lunch every day, I'm just not. And I was still excited the next morning. So I woke up at 4 a.m. with him, and I was drinking coffee. He's like, all right, so tell me a little bit more about this insurance thing. I said, Jake, I found it. We're going to be rich. And he said, all right, you go for it. I'm going to keep doing what I'm going to do, but I give you full support. So that's how I got introduced to this business, guys. Again, Jake and I had a background of what we would consider at that time financial success, in our early 20s, already owning a home, making six figures between the two of us. Again, he was the primary breadwinner, but my part-time job at the doctor's office was able to push us over that six-figure mark. So that's a little bit about me, just so you guys have an idea. And again, coming full circle, I don't believe the alliance made Jake and I, but what I do wholeheartedly believe is the alliance has helped us bloom. It's taught us things that we would have never known. It's put the right people in our lives, the right association. It's helped me specifically. I can't speak for Jake, but it's helped with my emotional intelligence. It's just helped with my overall, view on things and really believing that bigger things are possible. But I'd like to open it up to these beautiful ladies. If you can give just a real high level background of yourselves, where you were at when you found the alliance or where the alliance found you. I'll go ahead and start with Maddie since she's on my bottom left corner. Are you able to open up, Maddie?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, guys, my name is Maddie Ngo. I'm here in Tampa, Florida. Where I was in the alliance, when they found me and I found them at the same moment, I was crying out for help. I had the same dream as you, VeRae. I came into the insurance industry thinking this is it. I found my spot. I could finally get out of the rat race. I'm so excited to prove what I'm made of. And then I just hit roadblock after roadblock after roadblock with that agency. It felt like my hands are tied behind my back. It felt like one of my agents describes it so well. She's like, I feel like there's a giant cookie in insurance and I could only take a bite, but I want all of the cookie. And that's where I was at, VeRae. I wanted all of the cookie. I just couldn't quite figure out what I was missing and what that meant for my business. And so when I found the alliance found me at the same time. We just connected immediately. An incredible mentor, Dani, invited me in the business, and I love Sarah. Thank you so much for just telling me that I could do it just one day a week. That is what I needed to hear at that time. I was giving 70, 80 hours a week and I was dying. So yeah, that's kind of exactly how the alliance found me. And that's how it made me feel like I could bloom as well. VeRae, thank you.
I love that. So yeah, just wanted to real quick point out the beaver. I don't have much beaver in me, but it's going to come out. So wanted to just point out, how we were hired. I was hired by Warm Market. So again, a family friend introduced me. Maddie was hired by Warm Market. A friend of hers had introduced her. So thanks for sharing that. Dani, are you able to open up?
Hi, guys.
Hey.
So the alliance, I had already been introduced to like the door-to-door entrepreneurial world with solar. Only reason I was doing that is because my mom totaled my car. Sounds crazy. I was in my sophomore year trying to drive back to Utah to play college basketball, and 4 weeks before I had to go back, mind you, my family does not come from money, into an adobe wall. Car's totaled. I have $7 in my bank account. I'm working at Lowe's. Okay, so I'm following people on Instagram. I see these paychecks. Some of my good buddies in college were posting that they were doing door-to-door and they were doing these blitzes. So I was like, I'm in, fly me out. So I ended up making enough money. I made like 12 grand in 3 weeks and was able to put a down payment on a new car, drive back to college. So I was like, I'm not staying here with these people. So went to college, found money in solar. When I finished playing basketball, I went back out to Florida, did that for 3 years, but I wanted to be off of the doors. I was done doing door-to-door. I was done with the cold calling, done with all of it. So when I found the alliance, actually Sarah found me off of a license list. I was just, she said leads, and I was like, woohoo! Yes! yes, let's go, Sarah. Absolutely. So that's where I am.
I love that. Yeah, I get excited hearing I remember when Sarah found you and the first time I saw you come into the office, I'm like, okay, this chick is dressed sharp. She looks like she knows what she's doing. Let's see if she knows how to put numbers on the board. And you have proven us that you look sharp, you know what you're doing, and you know how to put numbers on the board. So that's exciting. We're grateful to have you here. Love seeing you at the office. Love that you're back in Albuquerque. If Albuquerque is where where you're deciding to settle down. If it serves you, I'm happy you're here. If it ever stops serving you, fly your wings, right? But thanks, Dani. Miss Tia, are you able? Okay, I'm like, how did I get to interview Tia? This should be the other way around. Tia Edwards should be interviewing me.
We in this together, sister girl.
I love
so, good afternoon, everybody. Yes, my name is Tia Edwards, right here in Kernersville, North Carolina. Thank you, VeRae, for having me on the call. Thank you, Andy and Jane, and our upline, the Riddles, the Mathis. We love all of y'all. So me and Terry, VeRae, we've actually been here for 10 years. My background is in social work. And so social work and case management. I did case management with federal inmates, helping them to transition from the halfway house back out into society. And then I went to adult services, and I basically, advocated for the senior citizens right there. And me and Terry, we're high school sweethearts, just like you and Jake. We've been married for 24 years. We have 4 kids, 2 in college. We have almost an 18-year-old, a 17-year-old high school senior, and then we have Boss Baby. She's 10 years old. She's in the 5th grade. And so actually the Alliance, the way we became a part of the Alliance family, it was 10 years ago when Terry, we basically moved to Georgia. Terry was offered a CEO position there. And 2 weeks after Terry was supposed to start his position, on my birthday, I remember it just like yesterday, at 4:58 p.m., their attorney office basically sent him an email and terminated him by email. They needed to take care of some things on their end. I had just had Taylor. No, I was 7 months pregnant. No, I was about to have Taylor at that time. And then we had the smaller 3 kids in elementary school. And Terry found an ad, thank God for Olga and Jason Mathis, for posting a Craigslist ad, y'all. So we were co-marketed. Like Jason and Olga did not know us at all. And Terry responded to that ad. It said, too many leads, not enough agents. Terry got his life insurance license in 3 days. This thing went fast, y'all, and we needed for it to go fast, right? Because we still own the house in North Carolina and leasing the house in Georgia. And his first month, he put in the bank account over $8,000. And so he looked at me and he was like, Tia, this dog a hunt. And on the other side, VeRae, I wasn't excited like VeRae, y'all. I was like, I don't know what this thing is. I don't even know who you're in the basement talking to all the time. He was in the basement all the time on the phone with Andy Albright and Jason Mathis. And I'm like, what are y'all doing? I just had a baby. I need Terry's help right now, but I understand he got to make that money, right? So Terry really looked at me, VeRae, and he said, look, until you can find me something better, girl, I'm going to stay right here. And I am so thankful that he did because he made that decision to stick with it. And now I'm on board with it. We have built some great, amazing relationships here because of the Alliance. And we have a great team as well. So I'm forever grateful for this business. We're in it for life, VeRae. Thank you.
That's right. I love it. I love hearing that. One of our first conferences, Jake and I heard you. I think I actually heard you at the women's conference. I used to. We need to bring that back. All right. We need to bring that back. But we were in another room and I heard you speak and I heard you talk about you and Terry being high school sweethearts. And I was like, oh, okay, I can relate to that. I heard you talking about you and Terry talking about your dreams. I said, I could relate to that. You had young kids at home. I said, I can relate to this, right? So you and Terry have and still continue to be somebody that Jake and I just look up to in this business and are grateful for your leadership, your attitude, your mentorship. I know it's not always perfect. We've all had our moments, right? But that being said, I just appreciate you sharing that, Tia, and just being so transparent with everybody about your skepticism. Because I wouldn't say Jake was skeptical, but here's how it went with Jake and I. I was, I'd get home from running a day of appointments and I'd be all fired up and say, look at what I did today. And this was before the ARC. This was like right before the ARC. So I wouldn't get one deposit, but I'd see like a CFG, a Foresters, right? And I remember one day I was looking at the bank statement and I opened it up and I started totaling it up and Jake was at work and I took a screenshot and I sent it to him. I was like, dude, I just made like $900 last week. Mind you, I had 2 kids under 5 at the time. I was going to school full time, because again, I had started back. I was going to change my degree, guys, and I was still working at the doctor's office. And I remember sending that to Jake. And again, I wouldn't say he was skeptical, but he got home that day and he's like, I'm sitting here looking at this check. He's like, you put into our bank account what it takes me, 4 or 5 days in the work field to put into our bank account. Maybe we should do this insurance business, right? Yeah. So I have a lot of people that ask me. I'm grateful to be in business with my husband. I have, a lot of spouses ask me, what do I got to do to get my significant other in the business? I mean, you got to do what Terry did. He put $8,000 in their bank account. You got to do it. It wasn't $8,000, but it was $900, and I'm proud of that $900. You got to put numbers on the board. Like, don't just talk. Do make sure that your spouse sees that.
That's right. And VeRae, that's awesome. Also very important. Yes, put the money in the bank account, but still for me, VeRae, it wasn't even the money that moved me, girl. It wasn't that. Terry invited me to a hot spot. I took all the kids, very intentional. I took all the kids with me because all my attention would be more so on the kids. VeRae, I was real mean back then, right? And so then Olga was like, Tia, you gotta come. At the time, our family reunion was called Leadership Conference. She said, Tia, you gotta come to this conference. So I'm like, okay, Olga, I'm coming. But for me, VeRae, it was going to the big events that changed my thinking and changed my wanting to get involved in the business with Terry. So to add to that, if you do have a spouse that's back at home and like, you can go ahead on and do that thing, babe. I'll stay back here. No, this is what you need to do. You need to get yourself and your spouse to these big events. So at the National Boot Camp, it's not just you sitting there, but it's your spouse sitting beside you. And if you have to bring the kids, Andy Albright got the tickets for the children too. So bring the children bring their gadgets so they'll be quiet so you can have your attention on that event. But get the people there, get your team, get your spouse there so y'all can build something massive together.
Yes, I love that. I love that you said that because I was super excited, fired up. And then I remember there was going to be a hot spot and Noelle Leventovich was coming into town. And I told Jake, you've got to be there. Come with me, meet me after work. And so looking back, just the belief that Noelle has always had in us, just really, that's something that you can't put a price tag on because looking back to that hot spot, I had the opportunity to shower and put something nice on, but Jake came straight from work. He came and they never judged him. He came in cargo pants, work boots, a t-shirt and a beanie, and he was full of sawdust, right? He probably smelled like smells we don't even want to talk about because he worked construction, right? He was a laborer. He was working outdoors, lifting things all day, but never judged for what he came like. They were just excited and welcomed that he was there. And so I agree, having him next to me during that hot spot, he saw different, his aha moment, Jake's analytical, we like to call them the beavers. His aha moment was he saw the bubbles. Building a business. Okay, so you're telling me if I go hire X amount of people, calling overrides, all of that. So I agree with that, Tia. It's a combination of both. It's showing them this works, putting effort into it to show results, and then involving your spouse. So absolutely. So Dani and Maddie, whoever, we can open it up. We'll start with Maddie. Just kind of wanted to go over, what is it that you're looking for? Because you're recruiting right now, Maddie. You're bringing on a team. So high level, you've been with us, 3-4 months now? Is that right?
Yeah, I think we're going on 5. It's really, really not a super long time here. So yeah.
Okay, so month 5, and I'm going to brag on her, not because, not because I feel the need to, but just wanting to kind of give you guys where she's at. So she came into this business through the way of Dani, which was a warm market, got connected with Sarah Seifert. Sarah Seifert has been the one to help Dani, help Maddie, in that, as far as getting up and going. But you came in with bigger goals for yourself. You never put down what we were doing on the final expense, but you wanted to jump into something higher level right away. So can you talk to us about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I think final expense is an amazing asset to this organization in general. I think it's an awesome way for people to come in and really build a foundation. But I had already built a foundation elsewhere. And I felt like I was catching up on time. So like I spoke about previously, I was with a different agency before. I was with that agency for 6 months. Y'all, 6 months, and I made $1,300, okay? I was stressed out. So when I came into this opportunity and Sarah was like, yo, you can work 1 day a week, Maddie. I'm like, woohoo, final expense 1 day a week. That sounds like my dream. What else you guys got? And she was like, well, we also have this, the health side, Medicare. I'm like, okay, that's a great opportunity for people, but it didn't interest me, right? And then she's like, yeah, we also do this estate planning thing. And I said, huh? Estate planning? What do you mean by estate planning? Like, run me through that, because I was working in the bank prior to this, right? So I already knew what a trust was. I already knew what annuities were. I already understood that side of the business. In the bank, all I did was refer business. That's how I made my money. I was making over 6 figures there. 7, 8, 9, 10 grand a month I was already making. So when you take me out of a 10 grand a month, and then you're telling me for 6 months I'm going to make $1,300, my savings account went like this, right? So I was like, heck no, I am not going to make this slow. You're telling me the big fish are in estate planning? Why don't I fry the small fish? Why don't I build the bubbles, build this massive organization? We can all fry some small fish, kumbaya together, and let's go ahead and go after the big lion, right? Like, I'm out in the Amazon shooting for the elephants because I need to get some big fish back in my bank account. So that's what interests me so much about the estate planning. And yeah, you guys are like, hey, don't get too excited. It's expensive to get into this. And I was like, I do not care, because I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, all these examples of people that have been able to blow this business up massive within a year, 2 years of being able to do this. The Alliance introduced estate planning, what, like a year and a half ago?
Yeah.
Like, all of these people are relevant. It's in the last year. It's not like they've been doing this 30 years in estate planning and now they're finally getting to $100,000 of income, right? Like, it's not a slow roll. I can make this as big or as little as I want this opportunity to be. And I was telling Danny, I was telling Andy, he was talking about shooting hogs and stuff like that. They had a name for me back at the branch at Chase. And I don't really speak Spanish, so y'all might not know. But
don't say it. Don't say it.
So basically there was a little bit of an animal in there, right? So anytime I close a deal, I'd come out of the office and they were like, you're an animal. And I was like, I'm a caged animal here. You should guys, if you took my collar off, you wouldn't even know. And that's why I came over here and I realized I don't have rein. I don't have handcuffs holding me back. I don't have something to tie my hands behind my back. Like, I have free reign to do whatever I want. And I'm going to be the top lion on the prairie, right? I'm going to be the leader. I want to build a cathedral. I want this to be huge, right? And I'm not going to just use people. Like, I want everyone to feel the same fire that I feel. So I want to make sure that I'm firing up everybody and I'm supportive and helpful in that way. But yeah, I think the Alliance just opened up the whole clamshell of opportunity for me.
I love that. And what I love even more is Sarah's ability to not hold you back, right? Dan's ability to not hold you back, because I feel like too often we can hire people with big dreams. And for whatever reason, some people want to hold their people back because they're scared to do it themselves, right? It's, if I can't do it, then you can't do it. So yeah. I remember the first conversation that Sarah had to Jake and I about you. They're like, hey, listen, Dani hired the sharp girl, Maddie. She wants to do estate planning. Sarah's not doing estate planning, right? Sarah kills this business running final expense 1 day a week. And that's a lifestyle that she loves because she's got little boys at home that she can care for. Like, she kills it, right? And not to say she won't ever get into estate planning, but for her, it's not intriguing right now. And that's okay. Right. But she called us and she was like, I've got this girl that wants to do estate planning. What do I do? What do I do? And we're like, let her do it. Mm-hmm. Let her run. Let's talk to her about the investment, make sure that she doesn't have false expectations of turning money and, turning it into mounds of money overnight, but turning it into mounds of money over time. And so Sarah, has helped mentor you. Dani has helped mentor you, Jake and I. But what they've done really well is they got out of your way and they let you dream big and go straight to, like you said, those big fish, right?
Yeah. And Sarah continues to let me dream big. And that's the beautiful thing about it, is not only am I dreaming big and I'm taking big action, right? Because that's the biggest part of this industry in general, is taking big action. You can talk, and you can dream, but if you are not making steps towards your goal, you will not get there, right? So for me, every single time I come to Sarah with this crazy lunatic off the wall idea, she goes, okay, let's figure out how to do it. She does not hold me back in any sort of way. She encourages me to continue to dream these big cathedral dreams. I shared a story with Sarah when I was younger. My dad asked me, like, Maddie, what do you want? Mind you guys, I was probably 7, 8 years old. And the only thing that came to my mind is a helicopter pad. And that's what I told my dad at 7 or 8 years old. And my dad is a working man. He was not like buku bucks or anything like that. He earned his way slowly over time, you know? And he said, okay, Maddie, patted me on the head just like Jake did you that night, VeRae. Okay. That's cool. Good luck. I can't wait to see your helicopter pad, right? Like, I didn't even know what a helicopter really was at that age. I did not know what money was at that age, right? So I did not let that stop my dream. And my parents did not dull that sparkle, and neither does Sarah, neither does Dani, Jake, VeRae, Tia, everyone that I've had the opportunity to meet and connect with in this business. None of you guys have ever tried to do that to me. And I really just appreciate that. So thank you all.
I love that. You remind me of our younger daughter, Catalina. We were opening up a magazine one day and she just finger on the page. She goes, I want that. We said, what? And we look, it was a yacht. She's like, what's that called? We said, that's a yacht. She's like, I need one of those one day. And then, you know, she's over here, she hears about Mercedes and BMW and I Rolls Royce, right? She hears a lot of talk. And one day we saw, I think it was a Mercedes. I don't know what model it was. So for those of you that love Mercedes, but she goes, that's it. I thought it'd be nicer. I said, wow, okay.
She's just not looking at the right ones. I can show her.
Yeah, exactly.
We can put the helipad on the yacht, Catalina. Don't worry. We'll worry about it together. We can make this business huge.
Right. But no, just her ability to dream big. And then we were watching, I forget, it was a football game, but there was I think it was a Rolls Royce and it was like powder blue. And she was like, that's the one that I'm talking about. I said, all right, well, you know what you need to do to get there. Lots of work and associating with the right people. So that was fun. Well, I appreciate you sharing that, Maddie. Dani, if you want to kind of share to us, you know, what was your aha moment? So we don't need to go in the whole backstory about when you joined and, you know, kind of did the hokey pokey, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But what was your aha moment with the Alliance? Like, this is where I can plant my flag.
Yeah. First off, Maddie's crazy as hell. Nobody made that. She came like that. That's like full package. We just put her in the right place. She does all of that. Nobody did that. With solar, I saw money. I saw solar money, but I didn't see a path. I didn't see the future. I didn't see people sticking around, and I didn't see it as a lifelong thing where we're locking arms and we're doing this thing. People are coming and going, and people are young, and people are doing this just to have money, quick money, and then they're getting out. But with this, it's like, okay, we're in it, and we're going to stay in it. So why not do it big right off the bat, and let's go, right? So my mindset when I came in after the hokey pokey and whatnot, I was like terrified of hiring, but I was hiring super low level people. I was throwing SHIT at the wall and hoping it stuck, right? So I realized that like easy to find talent will get the job done. But if I want a business and I want my business to scale and grow and function without me, you have to find the A players. And so in my mind, I'm like, well, how in the heck do I find A players when I'm not known, when I haven't done anything yet? And I was like, oh, you just pretend? Okay, I can do that. Like, oh, if Stephen Davies can do it, being the fastest millionaire or the youngest millionaire in the Alliance, if Stephen Davies can do it, I can do it.
Come on.
Right? Like, if he can do it, and he's slowing down now, so we're on that ASS. You know what I'm saying?
Put it in gear, Dani. Put it in gear.
I'm saying, so he can do it. I can do it.
Keep other people's name out your mouth.
Hey, I realized that confidence, it comes from reps, not from hype. Confidence comes from reps, not from hype. So I didn't have to be known. I didn't have to do the darn thing. I just had to know the people that were doing the darn thing, put in the reps so I knew how to talk to people, and then plug and play. Mm-hmm. Plug and play. So that's what excited me. That's where like I'm with the Alliance. I'm here. I'm planting my flag. Let's go.
Let's do it. I love that. Well, thanks for sharing. And I know you guys are both actively recruiting people to the business, inviting people. I would assume at this point, it's a little bit of everything. You guys are going through your warm market. You guys are going through, hey, if we need, we'll touch on license list, right? We'll touch on cold market because I don't love it. Sometimes it makes me chuckle inside when people are like, oh, I'm not ever going to do license list. I'm in network marketing. I'm like, dude, if Jason and Olga didn't have another line in the water in Craigslist, Terry and Tia would not be here. If Sarah didn't have another line in the water, Dani would not be here. And then, which in turn, Maddie would not be here, right? So kind of just understanding our hierarchy, right? So we were hired by Warm Market. I hired Sarah Warm Market, who hired Dani Cold Market, who hired Maddie Warm Market, right? So everything works a little bit. Jake and I have been guilty of swinging the pendulum too far. And sometimes we're just so stuck in, oh my gosh, the cold market. And then we're like, we're going to recruit all our warm market. And then the pendulum goes this way and we're like, oh. So we're learning how to just stay in the middle, right? But Tia, as you and Terry have a respectable business, junior board members with the Alliance, beautiful family. What is it that you and Terry are looking for when it comes to recruiting, or what are you guys doing? What kind of dream are you casting on your people? What kind of dreams do your people have that you guys are making sure that the Alliance can fit that dream for them?
Yeah, good question. So for us, VeRae, we use what Andy Albright talks about all the time. Like, we're talking about the Alliance 8 and we're looking for the Alliance 8, and we're just like you. We do the license list, Zip Recruiter, all of that, right? But the biggest thing that have helped us build our business is really warm market. Okay. Mm-hmm. So just to give you some numbers, our top, it's about 70% of our premium this year so far comes from us recruiting warm market. So our top 5 legs, we have Miss Mia Fennell out in Charlotte. We met Mia through a network marketing company we were a part of 15 years ago. And then we have the Parkers, Josh and Alexis Parker, who's in Greensboro, North Carolina. Terry actually used to drive the church van, and Josh was at Winston-Salem State University, and Terry used to pick him up to bring him to church on the van. And a couple of years after that, they ran back into each other at Walmart, and we were in this business at that point. And Terry told them what we did, and look at here. They're one of our top recruiters in our organization. And then the Chambers, LaQuinta and Sebastian Chambers out in Lawton, Oklahoma. So we met them through Ms. Rose Poole, who we got off of a license list. But Ms. Rose Poole was part of a business with the Chambers. And she said, Sebastian, I got somebody you got to meet because y'all act just alike, which they really do. And so she connected Terry and Sebastian that way. And that's how we got the Chambers. And then Quincy Washington, we've been knowing Quincy for over 20 years. We used to go to church together. Our families went to church together. That's how he became a part of the business. And then we got Beth Ireland right here local as well. We met her through that same network marketing business. We went to a boot camp on a Saturday that they had hosted, and me and Beth had lunch together. And she was just asking, what are y'all doing now and all that good stuff. I told her she already had her license, VeRae. So I was like, girl, you need to get with Terry. And so here she go. And so it's our warm market that has been very powerful here with the Dream Team. And so we believe because when you work in your warm market, you build trust so much faster, right? So when we do our agents GS3, we do the list license convention. And so the quickest thing we do is get to a list of names. I don't need the whole MC backup. I don't need all that right now. Who can we get on the phone right now, right? So give you an example, we just hired a guy named Alton McCoy out in eastern part of North Carolina. And so we were doing the GS3, the goal setting call with them. And Terry asked them, so who else do you know that's sharp and ambitious like yourself? Now, mind you, Alton just got with us last Thursday, already wrote a personal use, already helped some family members. And so Terry got on the phone with his nephew when we did that GS3 call. And AJ was like, heck yeah. And so Terry went into the 4 words that we talk about, the North Carolina, leads, we doing insurance, and what's the other one? And we're doing insurance and we need help. Do you need help? Right. And so AJ was like, heck yeah. He was 18 years old, working with his uncle right now. And he's about to get his HVAC certifications. So he's about to get in class. So that's what we do. How fast can we get our agents moving, get people up under them? So that's what we've been doing, VeRae. That's really it.
I love that. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, that's powerful. I'm thinking of our organization right now too. And, we've got a few people doing estate planning now. Majority of our, team is still doing final expense, virtual, not door to door. Let's not like cold market, but, still going and seeing family. So that's what I love about our organization is we have diversity. Right? We don't have it's not like we've got some Medicare people that just focus on Medicare. We've got people that are focusing on just, life insurance and final expense. We've got some people that have gone all in on the estate planning. And I love the diversity of our organization because we're not all, we're not trying to just shove one thing down their throat. We're really trying to find, okay, what does this person want and how can the alliance be the solution to that? But as I think of our organization, again, a majority of our premium has come from warm market. So, we've got Sarah Cipher is our biggest organization right now. Her business so far month to date, last time I checked, they're already over 100,000. She's just having an explosive growth. She has used a lot of cold market recruiting, but what Sarah does very well is she finds these people off cold market recruiting and it feels like warm market quickly, right? So she's pulling people in, she's getting them to like her, trust her. She's showing up for them when they need it. Again, we've used this one example of how a cold market in her organization led to a warm market. When I think of our next biggest producer on the team, I think of my mom, right? She's by far the biggest producer that we have. Obviously, that's warm market, right? That's my mom. But last month she did 128,000 on her own pen. She's recruiting like crazy. So she kind of had the idea at first, sometimes we're told, oh, recruit everybody. And she was recruiting everybody. And I was like, Mom, this person doesn't even have a left shoe on, but she has really honed in of just understanding she's looking for people like her. And that's what I love about this business is, obviously I can relate to my mom, but I'm not going to be able to reach somebody that's, 20, 30 years older than me because they can't relate to me. But the beauty of this business is she's going to be able to pull in people like that because they see her and they relate to her in that way. So she's hiring sharp people, that are around her age, that want to be in estate planning, that are already successful realtors, successful lenders that are coming into this business, used to having a high lead investment, used to putting in hours and dealing with clients face to face. So she's able to attract that market. And it's not to say that Jake and I can't coach and train somebody like that. And at the same time, they can't relate to us. And we're okay with that, right? We don't have to be everything for everybody. That's one thing that we've learned over the years in this business. Even I can talk about our buddy Drew, right? He's actually the person that's been with us longest on the team, just so loyal. And he's going to be able to bring people into this business that can relate with him. That would never be able to relate with Jake and I. And then, where do Jake and I feel like we fit in, right? We're younger. We bring in, people around our age, people that have kids. So I love it because you look at Dani, single female out there crushing it, no kids, not married. She's going to be able to relate to people in the business. So whoever brings them in, we can get them plugged in with Dani. And same thing with Maddie, right? So has a significant other, living out in Tampa, had a background in the banking industry, they can relate to that. I look at our organization and I would agree with you, Tia, majority of our premium has come from warm market and then that warm market branching off and going and finding people. So we've got a lot of good stuff going on in that. One thing that I did want to talk about, I don't want to spend too much time on it. I know this is a recruiting call, but I think this is directly related to it. So when I first joined the business about 6 years ago, I read, because it was one of the books that was recommended to me, I read Goals by Brian Tracy. Read that book, thought it was powerful, definitely took action as far as writing my goals down. I wasn't the best at following through. You're supposed to write them down every day, according to Brian Tracy. But the fact of the matter is I took the time to write them down. So I'd read that book. I wouldn't say I forgot about it, because Jake and I have always really, come back to what are our goals? What are our goals? And not only did that book teach us that, but Andy's taught us that, right? Mike and Noel has taught us about our goals. Mark Cassetta was a huge contributor to teaching Jake and I about our goals and really just breaking it down to where we can understand it. So in the book Goals, obviously they talk about writing down goals, and it's so crazy just what blue note cards will do. I shared this with the ladies at the cabin. But why did we get into this business? We have to come back to why we got in. So we are all entrepreneurs at heart, right? We saw something and we had a dream, and we were gullible enough to believe that we can do it too, right? We saw people doing it. I think it's so easy, and this isn't to put down, what anybody's doing in their organization. I'm going to speak for what Jake and I got caught doing, because that's what we thought was right. Jake and I came into this to this business with big dreams, big goals, right? Having the nice house, driving the nice cars, traveling with our girls, not just traveling with our girls, but traveling first class. Like, we ain't trying to stay at hostels. Let's be clear. Nothing wrong with that. If you do hostels, you do you, boo-boo. But, like, when I thought of traveling, I'm thinking, okay, first class flights. I'm thinking, taking trips around the world, visiting different countries, being able to afford to not have to pack a bologna sandwich when we go to Disneyland. Those are the kind of dreams that Jake and I've had. And so when you get into this business, it's so easy to get so focused on, just that day to day. What do I got to do today to show up and make my business grow? And if you're not revisiting your goals, and if you don't remember why you got into this business, it's very easy to also lose sight of why you're doing this. And I feel that that's where Jake and I, we're guilty for it. We're taking responsibility for ourselves. We're not blaming anybody, but we just got so used to that mundane of, okay, we got to dial on Mondays. And this is what we do every Monday. Mondays, we're dialing for appointments. And then we're going to do some interviews. And then we're going to have a staff meeting. And Tuesdays is run day. Wednesday, of course, TWC. Then we're running appointments. We got so hyper focused on that, which has served us well because of our consistency, but we forgot why we were doing this business. So long story short is we looked up 6 years later, we had lost track of ourselves. We had lost track of what our overall goals were. We lost track of what our overall dreams were. I was tired of telling the girls how good it's going to be when we get there. Because what Jake and I have been recently reminded of for ourselves is we have to enjoy the ride. We have to reward ourselves along the way. If we don't do that, this business isn't fun, right? Like, I don't know about you guys. Like, it's fun closing a deal. It's fun helping a new agent. But when you show up to your office day after day and you're just doing the same thing and you're not taking time to work on yourself, or you're not taking time to do the things as to why you got into this business, it can easily just be lost. So we were reading the goals book. I was rereading it. Noelle and I must have been on the same wavelength, because she had called me and said, hey, I have this idea to, get some books for all the girls when we go to the cabin. Let's retouch goals. I said, funny you mention it. Jake and I just reordered those books, and they actually came in, and I've already started reading it. But one thing that I want to touch on is I believe this is our job as sales managers, is to let people dream. Let them chase after what they got into this business for. I'm a fan of Robert Kiyosaki. I'm a fan of all of that. I'm not telling you to not do that. But when you become so focused on preaching what's a doodad and what's not, you are holding your people down, because now they feel guilty or shameful for doing something for themselves. And my belief is, hey, put your face mask on, make sure the business is still running, but reward yourself along the way. So this is from the goals book. It talks about the secret of a sales manager. It says, a friend of mine is a successful sales manager. After he carefully interviewed and then selected a new salesperson, he would take the person to a Cadillac dealership and insist that they trade in their old car for a new Cadillac. The new hire would usually balk at the idea and be frightened of the cost of the car and the huge monthly payments involved. But the sales manager would insist they buy the Cadillac as a condition of employment. What do you think happened afterward? First, the salesperson would drive the car home. Their partner would almost have a heart attack when they saw the new Cadillac. But after they had settled down, the new salesperson would go for a ride around the neighborhood in the new car. The neighbors would see them driving a new Cadillac as they waved on the way past. The new Cadillac would be parked in front of their house in their driveway. People would come over and admire it. Gradually, imperceptibly, was that word? Imperceptibly, at a subconscious level, the salesperson's attitude towards themselves and their earning potential would begin to change. Within a few days, the new salesperson would begin to see themselves as the kind of person who drove a new Cadillac, as a big money earner in the field, one of the top performers in the industry. And time after time, almost without fail, the salespeople in the organization became sales superstars. Their sales performance jumped and they earned more than they ever had before. Soon, the payments on the new Cadillac were of no concern because their incomes were much greater. So what did that remind me of? I'm over here 6 years, almost 7 years in this business, reminding myself, why did we get in, right? I'm a big believer in Robert Kiyosaki. I love Cash Flow Quadrant. I love Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But if all we're doing is preaching to our people, that's a doodad. That's a doodad. Don't do that. I'm like, you might as well be our boss and not call us entrepreneurs. Because last time I checked, I didn't get in this business to be held down by somebody to tell me how to spend my money and what to do with it, right? I came into this business looking for guidance, but also with the hope that I can pursue my dream. So that's what I read in goals. T, I don't know if you have anything to say to that. Maybe.
Yeah. So Terry and I, we're big dreamers, VeRae. And even before we became a part of the Alliance, like we've done the janitorial business. I used to have my own florist business where I used to do weddings and big events or whatever. I used to do Mary Kay, World Ventures. But the Alliance was the place where we were able to dream big. When we used to be a part of the network marketing company, right? Our mentor, he was young in his 20s, had the nice car, had multiple houses. He was an investor, but it was like hard for us to get where he was in that business. But when we shifted over here to the Alliance, we were already dreaming, and we sit with Andy Albright. We sit with the Cats. We sit with y'all leaders, the 11 Tovages, Riddle, who's always dreaming, right? These are big dreamers. And so they were working so hard, and they were showing us what we had to do in order for T and Terry to get the pool in the backyard, in order for T and Terry to remodel their kitchen, in order for T and Terry to very soon, remodel the bathrooms in their house. So it's like, for us, VeRae, we sat for the first 5 to 6 years, and we still going. But for the first 5 to 6 years, VeRae, we did absolutely nothing. Family reunions, fish fries. We used to have fish fries at our house every Friday night, and friends would come over. We cut all that stuff out. They thought we were acting funny. It wasn't that. We were so focused. So sometimes for us, VeRae, we had to really zone in. We have 4 kids, and we got 2 in college. My vision, VeRae, at this point, is that wedding. We got 2 girls. I want to see that wedding laid out how they want it. That beautiful dress on them. The boys, dancing with them, the mother and son dance. And it's like, now we got Mia Fennell, who has purchased her home since 7 years. And I'm going to let her share her own story. But me and Terry, we got to keep dreaming big so that our agents their dreams can fit inside. Like the Chambers, I know LaQuinta, she wants another house. They got a nice house right now, but they have grandkids they got to start building the legacy for. The Rob Report. Mm-hmm. Andy Albright introduced us to the Rob Report. That's right, VeRae. So it's like we pull these out so we can do our vision boards. And it's like we're over the dreams. Now it's time to make these dreams a reality. So sometimes you do have to like zone in for a season. It is just for a season so that you can get what you want, and then you can help others get what they want also, VeRae. So it's like for us, our future, we want to be senior board members. So we ain't stopping at the junior, but it's the senior board members. We want to become partners with integrity. Like that's where our mission is right now. We want over 100 people with us at the boot camp. So we just going, VeRae, and we're going to keep going. And we're going to keep bringing more agents in and helping them dream bigger, helping them work towards that financial freedom, because it is here at the Alliance. It's right here just for us. I remember, I'm going to give it back to you. I remember at a conference, Jane Albright, one of the women's seminars, and she was talking about the key. The key is in our hand. And the key, Maddie, is the Alliance. So we have the key to open up our dreams, to walk through that door and get to our dreams. Don't drop that key. We got to hold on to it. Keep working. Keep doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And that's where Jake and I, we look back at our last 6 years, and as the new kids say, we locked in. I could say that because I have a 12-year-old who teaches me those words, and she also taught me what this meant. I didn't know what you guys were doing.
Clock it. Yes.
Got clock it.
Yeah. So no, but yeah, absolutely. I look back at our last 6 years and we locked in, right? We've gone all out. We've put everything back into this business, not only monetarily, but our faith, our hearts, our money. We've just put everything in, and thank God, because we are at a position now where we can look up and start enjoying the fruits of our labor. We can't, again, we talk about that, the pendulum. We can't just enjoy the fruits of our labor and stop doing what we've done to get us there. Because as soon as we think we've arrived or stopped doing what has gotten us there, we're going to crash and burn. So Jake and I have goals similar to you and Terry, Tia, on our goals that we're writing down. We are integrity partners. We are millionaires by 30. Like, I'm claiming it. Next year that's going to be our first $1 million income year, right? And it goes above and beyond that. How do we get to multi-millions, right? So, okay, not just millions, but how do we get to 3 million a year, 4 million a year? How do we get other people to $1 million income earners, right? And so I believe it's keeping our dream big and showing them that they can have it too, and grinding it out for seasons and enjoying the rewards of your labor during the process, right? Because again, speaking for Jake and I, we're guilty of just so much head down. We look up and I'm like, damn, my daughter's 12. I've got 5 years left with her at the home. That's it. Like, you guys think about, she's going to graduate when she's 17. She's a younger class baby, as long as we've done our jobs, and she goes off and she, whether it's college or moves out and goes start something on her own, like, we've got 5 years left. And it's crazy to me to think how quickly these last 5 years have been.
Goes fast, VeRae. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me. So, that's mine and Jake, right? That's our situation. So I'm like, we've got to dream bigger. I'm so proud, we've put out there, just for people to dream bigger. I'm so proud of you ladies. I'm so proud of the people on our team that are dreaming bigger, right? We've got a girl on our team who just got her application approved to have an apartment here in Albuquerque. She's going to be closer to the team. We're like, all right, next step, let's get you locked in. Let's make so that way you can have your dream apartment. Hey, she showed us the one she wanted. We said, maybe not yet. But the good thing about an apartment is it's a 6-month lease. Let's reevaluate where you are. We can do a year lease. We can reevaluate, but we've got to focus on what's gotten to you to where you are so you can make a move like this, moving out here on your own. The other thing, her dream is to have a nice car. I'm like, all right, well, the car you got right now is breaking down. So we might not have our BMW yet, but can we get a nice, reliable vehicle that's going to help you get to that dream? Get you places, and my explanation too, I said, maybe we don't spend the extra money on the apartment. So it gives you, so we're wise about it. You can reinvest into your business, and that extra money that you would have spent on that really nice apartment, now we can get you a reliable vehicle.
Exactly.
That strategy is great.
You can keep building the dream, right? Because apartment leases, you can renew them, you can level up. And then the goal is a year from now, we're not having the conversation about renewing an apartment lease, but maybe we're leveling up. Hey, maybe you're renting a home now. Maybe you're in the position where you can buy that home. And for Jake and I, we're in the process of looking for our dream home. We didn't start that way. We bought our first home before the Alliance, and it was home to us. We loved it. We leveled up, not to it was a nicer home, but the reason we bought our second home is because we didn't have an office yet, and we had staff working out of our office. So we bought my grandfather's home. It was not my dream home. It still isn't my dream home, but it's been a blessing, and it's allowed us to grow our business, because what we were able to do with those extra bedrooms is put staff in there, right? So again, here we are 6 years later, looking for that dream home. And God bless Andy Albright, Mike and Noel, and Joseph and Venus, because we had a conversation with Andy. It's not the dream home that's going to make you work harder. It's the gratitude of being able to have that's going to make you work harder. And so I'm thinking, how can I talk to our team about that? How can we talk about the gratitude of the opportunity of the Alliance? How can we talk about that to get you dreaming bigger and working harder for that goal? All right, my bad. I'm fired up.
Good, okay.
Yeah, I'd love to add something on that as well. Yes. So when it comes down to it, VeRae, we were talking about with Tia and you guys just putting your head down, and I think that's amazing. But to be honest with y'all, that is not my dream, right? So I want to show you guys a little visualization about how I think, right? So there's this visual. Hopefully you guys can still hear me behind the screen. I am a number 5 on the scale here, okay? This is how people visualize things in their brain. You could visualize nothing like me. You could visualize maybe a little bit of a figment of imagination. You could go all the way to 0 and you could see everything in real 3D and touch it, but I have to touch it to be able to dream it. So for me, when I told my dad about the helicopter pad, it's not because I just pulled it out of thin air. I had seen one, And for me, it's like with all these different things that we're dreaming for, if I had not seen the nice cars or the nice things or Andy's jet or things like that, I would not know that they're out there for me to take, right? So for me to expand my dream, I have to have people that are dreaming big. I have to have people that are getting those little mile markers, that are going on vacation, that are showing that they can make this business a long-term thing. So that is something for me. I think you should put your head down for a season, but everyone's season is different. Mine might be 3 months. Tia, yours might be 6 years, right? It doesn't matter what your season is, as long as you can lock in for that time period to be able to get the fruits of your labor that you're looking for and continue to have those seasons. It ebbs and flows. So for me, I just wanted to kind of touch on if there's other people like that, like myself, like my team. We're younger. We got this like little shortened, attention span. I can't put my head down for 6 years. I would go absolutely nuts, guys. Like that is what Chase was selling as the dream, is you become a banker and then you become a financial advisor and then you're locked in for 25 years. And I was like, not for me. Like I'm an animal. I'm a caged animal. I need to get out. I need to see the world. I need to touch the grass. I need to feel things all the time. So for me, like booking little trips here and there, a little weekend getaway, little crazy things, treating myself to a nice dinner more often than not, those doodads per se, they mean something to me. It is an accomplishment. It's a show that I have earned something that somebody else might not be able to have. And hopefully I can bless people with that later on. And that's what I think about when inviting people in this opportunity. And every single time I'm recruiting, whether it's a 3-foot rule, whether it's, cold market, I do Indeed, guys. Indeed is free. Until you mention the Alliance, Indeed is free and they will not kick you off. Pro tip, guys. So if you have your own business name and you want to go ahead, I'm talking to people that I probably have just recruited onto my team right now. Deborah, brand new person. She texted me today and was like, hey, I've got somebody else I want you to meet. I'm not even reaching out and asking for a list, Tia. I'm just trying to inspire people. I'm just trying to connect with people. And I think that's the biggest thing of recruiting that's oftentimes missed. It's like we have an ulterior motive, right? But if we can just put that ulterior motive, that wall down and just have a genuine connection, people are going to want to be with you, right?
That's right. That's right.
So that's really what it's about. But yeah, I just wanted to show that little visual on my attention span because I need to see the watch. I need to see the car. I need to see the lifestyle I want to have, right? So just so you guys can kind of get a little my black brain.
I absolutely love that. And that was a conversation that, Jake and I have been having. And it's a conversation that you, Dani, and I had. So I want to bring Dani up. But, we were like, how do we get better at attracting the people who aren't just getting by to pay their bills, aren't getting in to pay their bills? How do we get better at attracting the people that want it all and want it now? Right. And I do think I'm 100% agreement with you, Maddie. We have to not only show them the dream, but let them touch the dream along the way, because there's, if all you do is talk about how good it's going to be and they never feel that, they ain't gonna feel it, right? That's not for them. We're looking for people who, again, want it all, want it now, and have the work ethic, and the drive to back it up, to put in their work to get that. So, Dani, if you want to share with us, again, I know that you're building your team. What was something? Maybe it was from the Alliance, or maybe it was from a previous business. But what is it that taught you how to dream, and what are you trying to share with your team as you're building your business?
Honestly, I'm just trying to be a sponge in this. I'm taking what y'all are doing, and I hope that I don't lose sight of what I want. I hope that if I do lose sight and I go off track, I can learn from you guys and learn how to get back. Yeah, like reel me back in, pull me back. I hope that I never get weary in well doing. I hope that I never get complacent. I pray that when some of my team members, some of my best friends do get complacent, or they stop dreaming, I hope and I pray that I am able to be, the kind of guiding light. Like, hey, I was there. I didn't know what I wanted at the time, but let's dream build together. And VeRae, you reached out to me the other day, and you had all these ideas, and we were going to go to the dealership and all these things. And it's like, yes, VeRae, we're still going to go to the dealer. But yes, like sometimes you can't sit down. Honestly, Maddie, you have me dreaming and thinking way outside the box. We were doing our goals the other night, and I had like a couple things, and Maddie's like, on the page, like going to the backside, and I'm like, wow.
I told them that 9 lines wasn't enough. I don't know who created that sheet. They said write down 10 goals, and I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is not 10, and also 10 is not enough. I could go 600 deep over here.
Maddie looks over to mine, and she's like, and keeps going. So it's like, screw it. What? What does that mean? Like, let me dream bigger. So like, there's a competitive edge, but I'm just soaking it all in. I'm learning. I love the guidance that we have. I'm blessed to be on a call with Tia Edwards and VeRae, and thank you guys for leading the way and being there for us. So I appreciate y'all. And
yes, thank you.
Everybody.
Everybody. Thank you, everybody, for the opportunity.
Yeah, I've just feel. Oh, go ahead, Tia. Go ahead.
I was going to say a little bit what Maddie said. So, Maddie, you are right. It also depends on like where you are in life, right? So it's like for me and Terry, we had to hammer down. But we have Mia Fennell. Mia Fennell will tell you real quick, look, Tia and Terry, look, 3 months, and then I'm taking my vacay. I got to take a little weekend trip. So I definitely get it. The younger people, yes, they got to do and taste, go out, travel, do little stuff. It's like how she go and take her parents once a year on big trips. So I definitely get it. So that's why we are looking for every single body. Okay, Maddie? I like it, girl.
100%. I told Sarah, my lovely mentor, Sarah, I'm like, hey, I'm going on a trip this weekend. She's like, huh? And I said, oh yeah, I booked it last night. She's like, where are you staying? I'm like, I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to be in Puerto Rico. Come 3 days from now, I'll be in Puerto Rico, y'all, because I need to keep living my dream so I can keep selling my dream, right? Like if I don't live it, it's ingenuine. I can't sell it to people coming in this business if I'm not living it.
Right. I love that. Yeah, I think
real though, because when Andy was saying on stage, when people would ask him what he wanted to do when he grew up, and he'd say, well, nothing. Like, I didn't want to work. That was my response. I don't want to work. I don't want to do anything. Nope. Literally. So like giving myself those breaks and trips and all the crazy things, like it helps me lock in. And that's why I love the events too, because we have a 30-day or 90-day run. Mm-hmm. Then we get an event, 90-day run, get an event. But like if you give yourself little, you get more than
sprinkling,
you breadcrumb yourself, and then you're like, yes, let's go.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love everything that you guys are saying. I love your perspective, Maddie. I love yours, Dani. I love yours, Tia. So that's the power of the alliance and the beauty, right? It's like we've got Tia and Terry who are in a different walk of life than Jake and I, who are in a different walk of life than Dani, who is in a different walk of life than Maddie. And again, coming back to the power of the alliance, all we have to do is connect people, right? Because again, somebody might not relate with Jake and I, and that's okay, but can we get them to somebody everybody who can. So yeah, I wanted to touch on that. And just, again, I didn't want to turn this call, let's keep this the recruiting, right? I'm like, we've got enough on goals and dreams, but I think that's so important. And if we don't have goals and dreams, if we aren't talking to people about what could be and what will be, if we're recruiting to something small, guess what? We're going to have a small business. If we're recruiting to something bigger than us, we're going to have a massive business. And really learning how to, let people be who they want to be and show them a way of how the alliance fits their goals and dreams, and how the alliance is the key, right? Like Tia was talking about, the alliance is the key to that. I had somebody, so I was very honored and grateful that I had the ability to be at the cabin, not once, but twice. So I was at the cabin a few weeks ago, and this was when it was kind of couples on the Leventovich team, but then majority men, right? So the couples, it was Mike and Noel, Joseph and Venus, and Jake and I, and then there was a lot of men there. And I had this gentleman, I love him, he's so sweet. He came up to me and he just said, we were having a private bartender, Emily, spicy margarita. That was my drink that weekend. And he came up to me and he said, "Ray, did you ever picture this? We're sitting in a beautiful cabin. They've got those beautiful windows, if you've never been there, where you can see the pond and the birds." He said, "Did you ever imagine that you'd be in a place like this?" Before I spoke, I stopped to think, because sometimes my answer is to just be like, meet them where they're at. But I stopped and I said, yeah, absolutely. I've imagined this, because I had this dream in me before the alliance. The alliance has been my tool to go out and get after what we want, right? So I think so many times as we come back to recruit and we're looking for the alliance to be the secret sauce. We're looking for their one aspect, our term, our final expense, our estate planning, right? We're looking for something to just be the solution, where really the solution is the people. The solution is us, right? We, like Jane said, we have the key. We have it at our fingertips. We've been given an opportunity. And I read it in a book somewhere, but it says we're typically only given about 6 or 7 opportunities in our life, right? I don't know. Jake and I could be on our 6th or 7th. We could be on our 2nd. I don't know, right? I'm sure the older you get, the more you've passed up by now. But it's like, this is an opportunity, right? So some people are so scared to just get in and get after it. They're so scared of, when you're interviewing that person or you're talking to your buddy and the first thing they start asking about is, well, what happens if they cancel? I'm like, why are we focusing on if they cancel? Like, you are so stuck on what if, you're not seeing what's in front of you. Again, I know chargebacks happen. I'm not, I wasn't oblivious to that, but that definitely was not my leading question. My leading question was, okay, how many people can I help? Is there a limit to how many bubbles we can hire? Is there a limit to what we can do? One thing I want to mention is, again, it was already within Jake and I, but we were humble and we were willing to follow somebody that can show us the way. So we didn't come in thinking we knew it all. We didn't come in, thinking that their way is not the right way. But what we have been able to do with the leadership and development that we've experienced in the Alliance is we've been able to grow as business owners. We've been able to grow as people. I can't say enough about Jeff Bright, what he's done for our business. I can't say enough about the people that we've hired, because just like Dani, just like you're saying that you're taking notes from Maddie, who you hired her, right? I take notes every day from the people that we have on our team, because they teach us something every day. And we're so grateful to have the people we have in our business. And Jake and I, we are nowhere near where we know that we're going to be and where we're going. But one thing that we always, say is, okay, we've got a good foundation. Let's keep going, because we're going to have a stronger foundation, right? It comes back to, like Robbie Kraft mentioned, building the cathedral, right? I've always kind of said it as building an empire, right? But it's like, we've got a great foundation because of everything that we've learned, everything that we've implemented in our business. So even if we had to start over today, we've got a rock solid foundation to just keep growing off of. But wanted to kind of get your ladies' last minute thoughts. Again, the idea of this call is, yes, recruiting is easy, guys. You're not looking, for this perfect answer or solution. We're just looking for people. We're looking to be used, be the hands and feet of God every day, right? Go out there and bring people closer to Him. And we're going to make mistakes, and there's going to be days where we got to repent of our sins, and there's going to be days where we messed up. But just any final thoughts from any of you guys, just, where you guys see your business going and some things that you feel like you can share with people to help them move forward.
Yeah, 100%. There's definitely some thoughts on my mind. I mean, when you said just learning things from your people that you've brought into this business, Dani's saying she's taking notes on me. I'm so honored that she'd be willing to take notes on what I'm doing. I have some incredible people that just show me like the humbleness of the business, right? Like the humble beginnings of the business. Because I did come in here at a different level than people. I do have a different mentality than people. So people like on my team, like Tiana and Evan, that are just like, hey, this is my first maybe opportunity. Maybe it's not their first, but it feels like their first real opportunity to grow and develop. Like, I just want to highlight how incredible that perspective is, and to be open to all different perspectives. I don't know how I come across to people. Some people I might come across cocky. Some people I might come across grateful and humble. You're going to be a different person to each person you meet. But if you're able to just continue to just be passionate and have conviction about the opportunity and know that it can change somebody's life, that's what's going to translate. So that's what you should focus on when you're talking to people about the business, is just the fact that it is life-changing.
I love that. Thanks for sharing.
I love that, Maddie. For me, y'all, it's knowing that you're at home, knowing that you have a place here at the Alliance, knowing that you have leaders. Like when we were a part of a different company, like you couldn't even touch the leaders, okay? But here, yes, Maddie, it was crazy because they were on a higher pedestal. They felt like they were higher than other people. But here at the Alliance, it does not matter what your level is here. Everybody wants to see everybody win. Everybody wants to see everybody successful, whatever that winning level is for you. It doesn't matter if you're on the Cats team. You can reach out to them. It doesn't matter if you're on Terry and Tia's team. I don't care. Reach out. We just want to help and see everybody win. And it starts at the head. That's what Andy Albright is all about. This business is all about serving the community, serving our agents. So just know you have a place here, and you're gonna fail. I remember when we used to have a space at corporate office. I heard Andy say, "It is okay to fail. It is okay." So when he said that to Tia, because I want a great recruiter, but when he said that, I heard him say that. I'm like, oh, Ian. So just know, if you're new, you ain't got to be perfect here. We're not looking for your perfection here. Okay, just get in here and be teachable and coachable, and wanting more out of life than what you have today. So that's all I got, VeRae. Thank you for having me on the call, VeRae.
I love it. Thanks for sharing, Tia. You're a legend in my heart. Dani, anything that you want to wrap up with?
This is more a message to myself, but I act like I have time. We act like we have time. We don't have time. We got to go, and we got to go fast, and we got to go now, and we know the direction we're going in, and it's all gas, no brakes. We don't have time to mess around. If you know you're planting your flag here, let's go. No more brakes. Let's go. All gas, no brakes. Game time.
Game time.
Love it. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for joining me on this call. And thank you to Andy and Jane and everybody that makes the Alliance what it is today. Thank you for all my friends that I've met in this business. That was another reason Jake and I, we were like, we were teenage parents. We didn't have friends. We locked in on teenage parents. All of our friends were, as they should have, right? They were out having the time of their life in college, doing what they needed to do. And Jake and I were where we needed to be. But one thing the Alliance has brought us is deep, lasting friendships, genuine friendships, right? I know I can call people, whether they're here in New Mexico or across the country, and I'm going to have somebody that will pick us up at the airport and welcome us into their home, right? I love going on the trips, and you're looking for your friends. You've got that group chat that you've created before, like kind of already planning who's going to do what dinners, and then everybody, are you here yet? What time do you arrive? You're just looking for your friends when you get there, and that's what Jake and I see. We see a business that we can grow at. We see a forever business. We see a home that we're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to build an empire. We're going to bring people with us, and we just want to do this with friends, whether it's through cold market recruiting, warm market recruiting, a combination of both. It don't matter to me. What matters is that we're all working towards our goals and getting out there and getting after it. So thank you guys for letting me host the TWC. I hope we brought some value to you, but these ladies are awesome and amazing. So thanks so much. We'll see you next time.